I'm Kristen from Tiny Footsteps Travel, and I'm going to share some very special Disney cruise tips that can help you make your trip just a little bit more magical. These tips are useful for first and second time cruisers and will help you get more out of your cruise. I can almost guarantee you that if it's your first or second time cruising, then some of these tips will really blow you away. I'm going to start with a couple really handy breakfast tips. On the Wish class ships, which are the newer ships, Marceline Market is the go-to buffet breakfast place. On the older ships, it's Cabanas, and I personally love it. The food is fresh, and there's lots of healthy and unhealthy options. I will say though, these buffet breakfast places, especially on the newer ships, which have more people, get very busy and crowded very quickly. I love window seats in the Marceline Market, but it's hit and miss whether you get one, as they always get taken right away. So unless you're there crazy early, like 7 a.m., then you'd have to arrive right as someone is leaving and just get lucky to get one. But on my last cruise, I found another breakfast option where we were given a window seat on a silver platter and had a very nice, relaxing breakfast dining experience. Head to 1923 if you want a less busy breakfast experience. On other ships, they have different names for their sit-down breakfast options. It could be Triton's Enchanted Garden or Lumiere's, but regardless of the ship you're on, I recommend taking advantage of this sit-down breakfast option at least once. The food is included in your cruise price, so you're not paying any extra. The small bonus for me was getting a window seat much easier, but even if you don't care about that, it's still a lot more relaxing here than the buffet. Room service breakfast is an option too. It has simpler breakfast options, a lot more basic than in the restaurants. Make sure you have some small denominations of US dollars if you want to order any room service, including breakfast. This is the easiest way to tip the people who bring your food. The food itself is included in your cruise cost, but it's customary to tip about $1 per item or $5 for a whole tray of stuff when ordering room service. One thing I want to draw your attention to on the breakfast room service menu is the milk options. If you want a different milk than what is listed here, just write your request in beside it and they will likely make it happen. We prefer oat milk in our coffee, but I didn't see it listed, so I wrote it down and it came no problem at no extra cost. The breakfast room service will come at the time window you order it for, but if you order room service for other busy times like lunch or dinner, then it can take 30 to 40 minutes sometimes for it to arrive depending on their volume of orders, so just prepare for that. Here's a coffee tip. There's nothing wrong with the coffee that the cruise already includes. I enjoyed it, but I have to admit I got drawn into the specialty coffees. There's a few places on board that do specialty coffees that cost extra. They have a variety of flavors and they can imprint Disney characters into the froth design. My tip for this is ask for a punch card. We received a punch card where our 6th specialty coffee was free. So if you think that you might order that many times, then ask for the punch card. I can't guarantee they always have it or will give it to you, but it is worth a try if you're going to order it multiple times. As you know, Wi-Fi is not included in the cruise cost, but the break from the internet was part of what refreshed and calmed my soul, so I recommend not buying it if you can avoid it. Disney makes it very easy to get around the ship, plus they offer the navigation app, which you should download right away. But my husband and I found out by accident on our last cruise that WhatsApp seems to work on board. It's much easier and faster than the navigation chat option too. So I recommend downloading WhatsApp if you don't have it already to communicate with anyone else on the ship. It seems to work for texting only, not photos or video. I have some tips for character mates that are handy to know. If you're on one of the newer cruises, which have more passengers than others, the lineups start forming sometimes up to 15 or even 20 minutes before the start time for popular characters and photo ops. If it's a princess or Minnie or Mickey, or a combination that you don't see any other time, for example, Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, then expect the lineup to start before the meet time and try to be there slightly early. Another tip about meeting characters is that you'll notice that some of them are only out once for the whole cruise, and some are out every day. Characters like Minnie and Mickey will be out every day, but they're wearing a different outfit each day. So just because you already got a photo with Minnie, Mickey, or Daisy, for example, on one day, they're likely wearing a different outfit on another day. Another little tip that's helpful is if you're going to be meeting characters and getting them to sign autograph books, I highly recommend bring a pen and have a few pens handy for your cruise. This is the one that they actually provided to us in our stateroom, but I don't know how many pens they really give you, and we've just really tried to keep track of this one so we don't lose it. But just to make things easier, I'd bring a few pens and just have them on hand so that you always have a pen ready to go when you want to go meet a character. So one thing I always wonder is, okay, I'm leaving my room, what should I bring with me on a Disney cruise? You'll always want to have your Key to the World card or your Disney band, whichever one you're using to check in and out of things. Secondly, I would have a water bottle, just because I like to fill it at the water bottle filling stations, and of course your phone to take pictures. The photo package is something you should buy in advance if you know you want it, because the price increases once you're on board. You can also buy photos individually on board if you want. They actually have computers set up where you can swipe your card or band and look at all the photos that have been taken associated with your stateroom. There are a lot of photo ops and character meets. Lately, I found they've increasingly been doing magical ones where something is added after they take the photo. Doing all the photos can be a lot of work because many of them have lineups, but we do them because I personally love photos. It's a personal preference. If you want lots of photos taken, then I'd recommend purchasing the package before you arrive. We're about to go into the princess place. Are you excited? Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is a really special experience for 3 to 12-year-olds where girls can get their makeup, hair, and nails done, plus get a few gifts to take home. They have a wide selection of princess dresses there to choose from. The packages at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique are not cheap, but you can save quite a bit of money, like over $100 USD, if you bring a princess dress that you already own from home with you. We had a really nice Elsa dress already from the Dublin Disney store, so we brought it when on the Disney cruise, and we saved a lot of money. It didn't feel any less magical for us doing the cheaper package because the focus was instead on her hair, nails, and makeup, which she loved and she didn't even notice. If you're on a longer cruise, it's helpful to know that there are laundry facilities on all Disney cruise ships, but it costs extra. There's one price for washers and one for dryers. Bring your own laundry detergent and dryer sheets to save a few dollars at laundry time. My other tip is that if the dryer stops, don't open it unless it actually says done. My husband made this mistake because it stopped, but it turns out that the clothes were still wet. He had to pay an additional $3.50 just to continue drying them. If you choose to prepay tips, then Disney Cruise Line will distribute the amount amongst your team the way it sees fit. Typically, your head server gets a certain amount, your room attendant, and so on. They do this for your convenience, so that you don't have to worry about it after your cruise. You can add extra if you want, on top of the prepaid tip if it's in your budget, and if you feel like someone went above and beyond for you. You may see people online suggesting to give extra cash in addition to the prepaid gratuities, which is fine to do that if it's in your budget. But there's something else that we found that helps just as much, if not more, than extra cash. Write a letter about the people who made your trip extra special and email it to Disney. They told us that there was a Dropbox somewhere in the atrium to leave these in, although we couldn't find it. So I simply took these pictures and then I emailed them. Guest Services provides blank paper for you to handwrite a personalized message, so be sure to go visit them to grab this paper if you'd like it. So if you send an email, this is the address that you send it to. Be sure to include the ship name and the sailing date that you were there and the stateroom number. Mention the crew member's name that helped you and the specific details about what they did that made your trip amazing. And I think this is really important so that it doesn't just look like a generic email. You're actually going to mention exactly what they did that was so great. And I think this really helps because then Disney knows you don't just say this about anyone. It's not an automated message. You really meant it, and this person really did do something that made you feel special on vacation. Being mentioned by name, whether it's in the guest survey at the end of your cruise, an email, or the handwritten note, helps the crew members get extra time off, free internet minutes, bonuses, sometimes gift cards, or even just recognition at staff meetings or a certificate. But this kind of recognition is important because they receive not only these kinds of bonuses and perks in the short term, but it can have long-term career impacts for them too. If they want to stay with Disney and climb the ladder, having been recognized is going to help them in the long run. You'll be amazed at the amount of entertainment and activities Disney Cruise Line has for options of things to do on board. I'm impressed with how much they plan for passengers to do. Besides the obvious stuff, there's crafts, concerts, trivia games, other types of games, karaoke, and more. My tip is don't try to do it all. The cruises are designed to have more to do than necessary, so you likely won't fit everything in, even if you try. If you do try to fit everything in, then you may need a vacation from your vacation. This especially goes for shorter sailings, 3 nights or less, on the newer ships because there's less time to do everything. So I recommend taking it easy. If it's your first Disney cruise, then I would go easy on the port excursions. I know it's tempting to book a lot of them, but I would keep it simple on your first or second cruise so that you have a chance to explore all the ship has to offer and explore the ports themselves. My last tip for this video is something that I don't think too many people want getting out. If you use the Senses Fitness Center, you're also allowed to use the Senses Spa locker room, which has more than just lockers. It also has showers, a steam room, and the Senses Spa exclusive products. So unless you're buying a Rainforest Pass, this is one way to be able to use a steam room for free. If you found this video helpful so far, please don't forget to subscribe. I actually have one last tip about debarkation day. A day or two before you disembark, you'll notice that luggage tags will be delivered to your stateroom. If you add these luggage tags and leave your luggage outside your room the night before disembarkment, then they clear your luggage for you, which can be really handy. But it means that you have to be off the ship at a very specific time, usually on the early side, which might work best for you, especially if you have an early flight. If you have a lot of time though before your flight and you want to stay on the ship for as long as you're allowed to, which is usually 9:30 a.m., then keep your luggage with you and don't add the tags. I hope you have an amazing Disney cruise and that these tips will help you navigate the sailing a bit easier, save a few bucks, and get the most out of your cruise.